While all the sturgeon are born here, do you know where they originally come from?
This sturgeon at the origin come from Siberian area, Russia.
Okay, interesting. And after you extract the caviar, do you know how long it keeps?
Usually, here we produce caviar, and the shelf life is 10 months.
10 months. Okay.
10 months during.
Quite short. You know, some people tend to keep
it's not very short. Usually for caviar, it's 8 weeks, between 8 and 10 weeks. Here, it's really long period because you know that caviar is only fresh product. It's not pasteurized. It's the reason why we have to be very careful during the production, during harvesting.
Okay. And just preserved with salt, basically.
Salt, yes, usually salt, and add with preservative if the country where we sell caviar accept the preservative. Usually, for Europe, we had some different products, but for Asian and especially for Japan, it's only salt.
Only salt.
Only
Good.
salt.
So we can have the really healthy ones.
Okay.
Yes. So what sort of a salt do you use? I mean, where does the salt you use come from?
The salt is the more refined salt, very pure salt.
Yes.
Only sodium chloride.
Yes.
100% sodium chloride.
From within France?
I think it comes from a laboratory in France. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And when you showed us around the fish pond that over there, I mean that side, I noticed that some esturgeon have a kind of a greyish, lighter color head. The other ones are more black. And then I was wondering what exactly the difference is, and also is there any difference according to the color of the esturgeon that the price of caviar also is different?
Usually the color of Siberian sturgeon is a dark color, and the color of Siberian sturgeon eggs are most of the eggs are dark, but for 3 or 5% of the production we have lighter eggs, and some of them are very kindly white eggs. And it's very difficult for us because it's a very small quantity of product. But if you take the example of wholesaler, they select this very white caviar in order to sell it at an expensive price, very expensive. Yes. Usually, for example, for Ossetra, when you have very light Ossetra, it could be sent between 10 or 15 than the price of the original product.
10 or 15 times more?
Yes, 10 or 15 times more, yes.
Do you really think it's worth paying 10 or 15 more times?
It's not a question of tasting, because it tastes exactly the same thing, but it's a question of color and the
rarity.
Yes, rarity.
They're rare.
Exactly.
Yes. So, which country mainly do you export?
Yes, we export around 45% of our production, and mainly in Europe. When you take consumption of caviar in the world, the first consumer are in Europe, France and other countries in Europe, and second United States, and third one Japan.
Okay, so we're not doing that bad.
It's the reason why the 3 parts of the world we search really to develop, ASEAN and United States.
Okay, good. So now, is it possible for us to do some tasting?
Okay, of course it is. With pleasure.